You gotta love having to redo podcasts. You go back and you listen to the audio and you're like, hey, that's not the microphone that I want to be using. Just part of the deal, right? Part of the daily struggle of being an entrepreneur and starting a podcast. But what we're going to talk about today is if you want to win at life, what is the one thing that you need to do? And we're going to get into that here in just a second. But before we do, I want to tell you about I want to tell you about all the changes that we've been making over at ElleryWells.com. A new theme, new hosting, new just upgrades all over the place. It's kind of ridiculous. But yesterday, actually most of the weekend, I spent a lot of time working. 8 weeks to exit closed. We're starting our first lesson. We're having our first call this Thursday evening, so everybody's excited for that. But I got up this morning after working most of the weekend, and I was pretty excited. I was tired, but I was excited. And as you are going through the process of building your business, please make sure that what you are doing is something that you're excited about. Please make sure that what you're doing is something that when you think about it, you're like, yes, that's awesome. I could talk about this all the time. And it energizes you and fills you with energy. Because if you're going to kick the job to the curb, if you're going to say goodbye to that douche of a boss, I mean, make sure what you're going to do, make sure the business that you're going to start is something that makes you happy. Business is hard enough. Entrepreneurship is hard enough. If you're not doing something that you love, just stay in the crap heap that you're already in. That's where I was for the last 2.5 years I worked at Dell. I wasn't happy. I was miserable. I made the people around me miserable. And lucky for me, I was able to find something that I get really, it sounds weird to say happy about, but get excited to do. Building websites, doing landing pages, testing new software. I like that kind of stuff. Growing up as a kid, I used to take apart, I don't remember what I was obsessed with. I think it was watches or something. I don't know. I would like to take things apart to see all of the inner workings of them and to see what piece goes there. I've built computers, some of that kind of stuff. So when I translate that into building businesses and online businesses and working with my clients, I see those as those little widgets that I can take apart, pull the cover off. You know, you unscrew the screw here and there, and you take the cover off, and you see all the stuff inside. When you push the power button, this happens and that happens. I like doing that, and I like seeing that, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that in my day-to-day life. So we'll tie that in here in just a second, but if you are in the process of starting your own business, please make sure what you're doing is something that gives you a little bit of joy in life. Because that joy, that happiness, that excitement and energy you get from doing and talking about your business, that's going to be what pushes you through the challenging times and doing the things that you don't want to do, because there will be things that you don't want to do. Just learning about business, focusing on personal development. Sometimes it's the tech stuff. Sometimes it's the details that you would rather just not work on. But those are the parts of being an entrepreneur. Those are the things that you need to understand if you're going to build a successful business. If you don't want to, if you don't want to do that stuff, if you don't want to get into the weeds and understand how your business will work, just stop. Go back and work for somebody else. You've got to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a business owner. That's kind of my 2-minute rant there, but let me throw up an intro and we'll be right back with if you want to win at life, if you want to succeed on your terms, whatever that looks like for you, this is the one thing that will make it happen. I'll be right back. I'm not one of those entrepreneurs who gave up their 6-figure salary and fancy office to start a business, and I wasn't selling lemonade to my neighbors when I was 7. I wasn't born an entrepreneur, and I never laid awake at night dreaming of owning my own business. My name is Ellery Wells, and I was forced to make a decision. Welcome to the Ellery Wells Show, where we talk with real entrepreneurs about real problems that they're facing and real solutions on how they are overcoming obstacles, achieving their goals, and making a difference in the world. If you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, this is the place to be to help you start, build, or grow your business. All right, welcome back. Most people are tuned into the radio station WIIFM. Have you tried to find that on the dial on your radio when you're like scrolling through and you're like 96.3, 99.5, 100.7? Have you found WIIFM yet? Well, even though it's the number one station on the dial, you won't find it on your radio. Now, forgive me if you know what WIIFM radio is, but WIIFM just stands for What's in It for Me. People are very, very tuned in to, hey, why do I care? What's in it for me? We want to think about us first. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there's a survival instinct there, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to make it in the world, don't fake it until you make it. Just help people. Because everybody, again, is tuned into their station. What's in it for me? Give something before you ask for something in return. And be willing to give 1,000 times before you take. Actually, you probably shouldn't even take. You should probably just ask. So if you want to succeed in life, if you want to win, that is what you have to do. You have to give something before you ask for something in return. The best way to build your business is by giving things away for free. And on my podcast a long time ago, I think I linked to this. Yeah, if you go to ellerywells.com/winitlife, you can find the link to this. But David Sherry and Allie Lehman, who are the partners behind their company is Death to the Stock Photo. They built their entire business model. Now, I haven't talked to them in a few years now, I guess, but they built their business model on giving away things for free. If you go to ellerywells.com/winitlife, you'll find the link to, I think it's either to the podcast. If it does link to the podcast, you'll find a link to their site, or you can Google it, Death to the Stock Photo. Now they have a subscription plan where you can get more photos, better photos, but they still every month send out photo packages that are not stock photos. A lot of the pictures that I use on ellerywells.com are from David and Allie. They built their business a revenue generating profitable business by giving things away for free. And I try to do that through my blog and podcasts. You're listening to free content right now, and hopefully it helps you. This is maybe more of the change your mindset as opposed to here's something tactical that you can go and do. But this is free content that I hope will help you move forward in your business. When you give, people want to reciprocate. That means that they want to give back too. And that reminds me of 2 books that I am reading right now. I just started the book called Influence by a PhD called his name is Robert Cialdini, something like that. And it's called Influence. And then we're talking about mindset. And I'm also reading, I think it's by Carol Dweck, a book called Mindset. I think I really like books written by PhDs. Like I talked a while back about Adam Grant, who wrote Originals, and these 2 fantastic books. These are people who have done a lot of research to before they write their book. I think I like that style. Anyway, people in reciprocation is one of the sales tactics that is mentioned in Influence. That's why I mentioned it. Anyway, when you give, people want to reciprocate, and that means that they want to give back as well. It's like when someone pays for your coffee at Starbucks, so you pay it forward. You pay for the coffee for the person behind you. There was a string, I heard about this on the news, I don't know, a while ago, where the longest pay it forward thing for Starbucks was like 196 transactions. Someone bought coffee for somebody, then the next person bought the coffee for the person behind them, and so on and so on and so on, and it made national news. But what if you're not into all of that giving stuff? Well, think about this. Who wants to support the guy who shows up to the party and drinks everybody's beer but doesn't bring anything? Who wants to cheer for the girl who says, look at me, all the time? If you're like me, and I know you are because you're listening to the show, you want people to pay attention to what you're doing and to take an interest in what in how you are making the world a better place. Even us introverts like the spotlight every once in a while, but attention fades, and the best way to keep it is by showing other people you care and by giving to them. So instead of showing up to the party and drinking everybody's beer, bring your own beer. Or I don't know why I'm thinking about beer, but because Oktoberfest, I have a big case. Someone for my birthday got me a case of Oktoberfest from Sam Adams. And I just saw it. That's why I'm thinking about beer. Plus, it's in the notes here. But instead of drinking everybody else's beer, bring your own. Instead of saying, "Hey, look at me" all the time, point out the skills and talents and interesting aspects of other people. So if you want to build your business, if you want to be successful, if you want to gain notoriety in anything, give first. And you want to know the funny thing about giving? There's a nice quote that I'll just kind of borrow and modify, but it's the person who gives who often receives the best gift. Has that ever been true for you? When you gave somebody something they were really wanting, did you enjoy the experience as much as the person you gave the gift to? I bet you did. By the way, do you like the bloopers at the end of the episode? I just cut one out. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Ellery Wells Show. I'm your host, Ellery Wells, from a chilly day. Actually, it might be up to like 78 degrees here in Round Rock. It might be a beautiful day, but the temperature, it's a-changing, and winter is coming. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Ellery Wells Show. Shoot me a note. Tell me what you think of the show, Ellery@ElleryWells.com. Hope you're having an awesome day. We'll see you next time. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to mention to you. I'm testing a new service called repurpose.io. That's the URL of this business. It's a subscription service. I've taken all of my podcasts and put them on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you search for the Ellery Wells Show, you should be able to see at least all of the Ellery Wells Show episodes. I don't think I went too far back into the archives, but is that something that you like to do? Do you listen to things on YouTube? I know some corporate networks block YouTube, but I also remember when I was at Dell, one of my friends used to listen to music all the time on YouTube. The baseball game, the Astros that are in the World Series right now, that's supposedly streaming on YouTube's TV channel. So YouTube, you shouldn't block it. I mean, there's a lot of valuable, there's a lot of junk, but there's some valuable stuff out there too. Anyway, is that something that you find value in? Is that something that I should keep paying for? The idea is to get all of the episodes into another platform that you could access it from. There is a video, but it's a static image. So I don't know if that's something that you enjoy or not. But go to YouTube, search for the Ellery Wells Show, and you'll see my logo and a microphone, I think is the image there, and it's the Ellery Wells Show blue background. And see what you think. What's the audio quality like? Should I keep using Repurpose? Is that something that you think you might actually use, or where do you listen? I want to know those kinds of things. So anyway, have an awesome day. We'll see you next time. Anyway, thank you for